Well, let me tell you something, brother. I've got a new tag team partner right now. I got Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer.
WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan joins us now. How you doing, Hulk?
Man, I cannot believe you pulled me out of the party, brother. We got Hogan's Hangout, first night of karaoke. We're drinking Real American Beer. America rules, and so does Real American Beer. Get some, brother.
Zone, you kind of look for openings and opportunities. And I've always said, maybe once or twice in a lifetime, a wild, wild west deal will come along, such as the George Foreman Grill.
George Foreman, former boxer, made a ton of money after a grill idea someone proposed to him. He put his face on it, and you know it from there.
Where our agent, Sam Perlmutter, called me and George, but he called me first. I was picking up my kids.
Yeah.
So he called George. After he called me and George picked a grill, I got the blender that wouldn't even work.
Wow.
So that's one of those wild, wild west deals that lives on forever. It's a multi-billion-dollar type deal. All of a sudden,
this is in his beach store or whatever, surf shop, whatever, in Florida. Yeah, he has two locations, one in St. Lauderdale or Clearwater, Florida, which is near Tampa, and the other one's in Orlando. I think this is the one by Tampa.
With my partner Chad, and I read name tags and shake hands, and we got in a beer conversation. I said, I got this crazy idea for a beer. I see the whole country being divided and diverse. I see this huge opening like the Red Sea party, you know, with everybody's on one side, everybody's on the other side. But I get an idea for a beer that it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, it doesn't matter what sex you are, it doesn't matter what race you are, where you're from, what you believe in. I've got a beer that's going to bring America back together.
Yet he backed the Republican Party, even though he didn't. He wanted everyone together.
And as an entertainer, I tried to stay out of politics. But after everything that's happened to our country over the past 4 years, and everything that happened last weekend, I can no longer stay silent.
I don't know if choosing a side helps that situation or that statement, but whatever. Let's move on.
One beer at a time, and it's called Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer, brother. In the wrestling business, we try to take care of each other's bodies, but sometimes it gets a little crazy. And when it gets a little crazy, you have an unwritten law that you go out to the ring and straighten it out. But for me, I hated confrontations. So I said, hey, man, let's sit down and talk over a beer or something. So the idea came from that. Sitting down with a wrestler, having a beer.
Remember that, because we'll talk about it later. The whole idea that he had about the beer.
You know, we had a lot in common, and that would usually calm the.
I don't know yet about who's going to win the main event.
About this country and this whole world. We
to
are
be
more
determined.
alike than we are different. But we really need to sit down and have a conversation. So that's why Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer, brother, is going to bring America back together, one beer at a time.
One beer at a time. So even though that was his idea back in this beer launch around July 4th, so he probably announced this a few weeks prior in 2024. Here we are in 2026, and as of this week, this man has been erased. They erased him after selling 10 million cans in just 18 months and building a beverage empire on the back of the most iconic face in wrestling history. Real American Beer just made a move that has fans screaming betrayal, and they're screaming and they're saying, we are talking about a brand co-founded by Hulk Hogan, driven by his personality, and launched to a massive success in June 2026. But now the face is gone, the bandana is gone, the flag-waving wrestler who moved units at Walmarts, at small beer shops across the country, and even in WrestleMania and Monday Night Raw, has been scrubbed from the packaging. The company says this is a graduation for the brand, but new court documents or reports suggest something much different. Is this a necessary business evolution, or is it a panic move to hide a stolen idea that just triggered, allegedly, a $10 million lawsuit against the legend's estate? So welcome back, guys, to the Tea Drop. Strong Brew, Soft Behavior, and we are here to talk about the Real American Beer, who as of this week have announced that they will be changing the logo, and they made that real on February 4th with the drop of the new logo beer coming March of 2026. So a few updates, and this one hits hard for the wrestling community. Everyone is saying right now,
That doesn't work for me, bro.
but it is what it is because we're not the ones running the business. If you've been following the beverage industry or just wrestling Twitter, you know the Real American Beer has been a massive success story for some. Since its launch back in June 2024, this wasn't just another celebrity cash grab. It moved 10 million units apparently in its first year and a half. That is a serious volume for a new entrant in the beer market. And why did it work? Because of one man, Hulk Hogan. But here we are on February 8th, 2026, just days after the company officially unveiled a major rebrand on February 4th. They have completely removed the Hulkster from the standard can. No more bandana, no more flag, just text. And let me tell you, the reaction is exactly what you expect the internet. The internet is salty and the fans are confused and the timing raises a lot of questions. Most people think this is just corporate greed disrespecting a legend who passed away on July of 2025. But I did some digging and it turns out there is some type of legality or some type of debate going on behind the scenes that makes this rebrand look less like a marketing choice and more like a desperate attempt to avoid a 10 million judgment. So let's get to it. Now, we're going to talk about the rebrand itself, and this hits different. Let's take a look at what they actually did here because the details matter. For the last 18 months, these cans were loud, they were very patriotic, they were unapologetically Hulk Hogan, as you can see. But as of this week, the company has rolled out a sleeker, more modernized look. They replaced the iconic image of Hogan with a block text reading 200% American. And the tagline hits different. Right on top of the can, instead of having Hulk Hogan, now you have a prompt saying 200% American. To the point that even on the website, somewhere on this website, they're putting it on their branding all over. You can see it down here on the website. How you know it's 200% American? It has two flags, two American flags. That's 200% American. And that's what they're going to go with going forward. It is their new look. And you have a limited time, if you are a collector or a big Hulk Hogan fan, to grab the final run of the Real American Beer brand with the original Hulk Hogan look. Now, if I can turn that off, it hits different. Really, that sounds like a Gen Z energy drink or a YouTube hydration brand, not the premium American lager founded by the Immortal One. At least that's what some people are saying. Now we have to look at the facts behind this decision because the company stated this rebrand is intended to celebrate the milestone of 10 million cans sold. And they actually posted this on their thing itself. They didn't state exactly the details. Hulk set the tone. The next chapter carries it forward. 200% American always. And you already can see how people are reacting. I mean, if we can zoom in. Whoops. There we go. Hulk image was the only reason to buy this beer. Without him, it's just piss water. Okay. Hulk literally worked himself to death to promote this, and now you guys have turned on him, brother, and removed him from everything. Horrible. So everyone is pissed about this. It really is sad. They are framing this as the brand graduating from a celebrity product to a legacy brand. They want to sell beer to people who might not care about wrestling. They want to be the beer you grab at a BBQ, even if you've never seen a leg drop in your life. Now, let's look at the timeline of this whole product. So we have to talk about the timing. Hogan passed away recently on July 2025. That's about a year after he released it on July 2024 on 4th of July. He unfortunately died at the age of 71. This rebrand is rolling out barely 6 months later. You have to ask yourself, what is in the boardroom meeting where they decided this? Hey, the co-founder who built this company and whose face moved 10 million units, let's get rid of him. Holy shit. That is a bold strategy, and I don't know why. But usually when a brand makes a move, this baffling, it's not because they think they knew the new design is pretty, it's because they are legally required to change it. And that brings us to the real story that nobody's talking about yet. But let's first talk about the fan revolt. Before we get to this alleged lawsuit, we have to look at the immediate fallout. Naturally, the internet is having a normal one, and by that I mean they are absolutely roasting this decision. If you go to X, as you saw, it's a war zone. Just on their post when they posted this rebrand, the Hulkamaniacs feel like this is a total betrayal, to the point that you will probably be hearing Hulk Hogan in heaven saying,
There's no Hulkamaniacs here.
We are seeing tweets mimicking Hogan's classic promo style. One user posted, and I can't find it, well, let me tell you something, brother. No way any of the little Hulksters will buy this again. And that's a sentiment that's popping up everywhere. There is this feeling that Hogan spent the last year of his life pushing this brand. He was out there doing the media rounds, getting into retailers, shaking hands, hugging fans, signing autographs for fans. You know it. EAP probably kind of did it. And now that the hard work of the launch phase is done, the corporate suits are stepping in to sanitize the image. Another user posted, I bought this because of Hulk. If I wanted generic beer with a slogan, I'd buy something else, taking else. This doesn't seem to be landing well for them. The brand's identity was built on the WWE persona Hulk Hogan. The theme song comes to mind, the nostalgia from the Hulkamaniacs and Hulkamania, whatever. When you strip that away, what do you have left? What do you have left? A lager, a beer, a light beer, nonetheless. There are 1,000 lagers out there. What makes this one lager, this one brand, real American lager, any different from anything else? Remember, Budweiser is America's beer, according to many people, and it's been so for many years. What is this one going to be any different? It's light beer. The fans are calling out the company for turning heel. Like, some of these IWC people go crazy for this. And honestly, they have a point. We have to understand why they did this. So let's start with the core issue here, because of this will make people understand why all this is happening and more truth to the reality of this. Why fix what isn't broken? I agree. Everyone liked the new logo. They were buying it because of it. Why break? Why change it? Why erase the face that pays the bills? Well, it turns out the real American beer concept might not have been theirs to begin with. According to a bombshell report from US Magazine, Hogan's estate has been hit with a massive $10 million demand. This isn't just a small dispute, it's a full-out blown intellectual property war filled by a company called CARMA HoldCo Incorporated. If you don't know, CARMA they are a powerhouse behind a few things, behind Mike Tyson's Tyson 2.0 brand, and even Ric Flair's Drip line. They know celebrity branding, and they are claiming they developed the entire concept for real American beer. Here's what the lawsuit alleges. CARMA claims they spent months developing a beer brand specifically for Hulk Hogan. They created the marketing, the strategy, the whole package. Then they allege that a former CARMA president and employee took those materials, poached Hogan, and ran off to launch real American beer on their own. So took the idea that they were preparing for Hulk Hogan and made it their own idea and went to Hulk Hogan. Now, they are calling it a breach of contract and intellectual property theft. Now, look at the dates. The lawsuit was originally initiated back in July 2025, as you can see on the top of this court order over here, all the way on the top with the blue, right around the time Hogan passed away. But on January 2026, just 2 weeks ago about, CARMA HoldCo escalated things, filing a fresh $10 million demand against the estate. And when I mean the estate, I'm talking about the Hulk Hogan estate, which is currently run by his son, based on the will. Now, his son, Nick Hogan, I believe his name is running the estate with other people, but I believe he has most of the stake of the estate. Now, do you see a timeline? Holy shit, man. They get hit with a 10 million IP theft lawsuit on January 20th regarding the brand concept. And 14 days later, they completely scrub Hogan's face off the product. Now, as in coincidence, it's obviously the beer company's damage control to this situation. If the very concept of the Hulk Hogan beer is what's being litigated, removing the specific imagery that ties it to the alleged stolen concept might be a legal strategy to mitigate damages. What do I know? But this is probably them, like I said, trying to figure out a way to minimize the blow that they're about to hit, if this is all true. Or it might be a part of a settlement we haven't seen yet. So right now, we don't know what's going on. It's just people are reacting to the change that was announced on X, on the website, and so forth. But we're getting little breadcrumbs of the reasons intended behind this. And it's not because he's gone and we don't need him anymore. It's because they're dealing with something else. Honestly, if I was the beer company, I'm sure they would have kept holding on. If they are legally able to, they would have kept going with using Hogan's imagery because it sells. As you can see, people only buying it because it has Hulk Hogan in it. Otherwise, why would I buy this light beer? You heard it from X itself. And it gets worse because for the estate, just 10 days after the lawsuit was filed on January 30th, and it's been reported on Shran on February 7th, but on January 30th, 2026, Hogan's massive Clearwater Beach mansion was listed for sale for $10.99 million, or $11 million to be exact, if we want to round it off. Now, the lawsuit that's being done by this other beer company or intellectual property company demands $10 million. The house is listed for close to $11 million. You don't need to be a forensic accountant to see the correlation there. It looks like the estate is liquidating assets rapidly to deal with this legal nightmare. So when Real American Beer puts out a press release saying that they are modernizing for a global audience, that is corporate speak for probably we are currently being sued into oblivion and need to distance ourselves from the dispute IP immediately. It's them trying to, like I said, limit the blow. They're trying to limit the blow because they may not have no protection against this. Who knows? We're about to find out in the next couple of weeks the truth behind this. Maybe not. Maybe they'll silence, be quiet, and keep it under wraps. But this is really what's happening. From what it seems, if you add everything up, it makes sense. Now, the defendants are denying everything, calling the suit meritless, but the actions speak louder than the PR statements. You don't overhaul a successful brand overnight unless you're forced to. Now, the company isn't stupid. They knew the fans would revolt, and they knew the timing looked suspicious. So what did they do? They pulled a Willy Wonka type of distraction. So to honor Hogan's legacy, and I use those quotes marks heavily, they are running a limited golden ticket type promotion alongside the rebrand. Here is what they're doing. They have hidden 50 golden tickets inside existing 12 of the old beer. If you find one, you get a 12-pack signed by Hulk Hogan himself. You'll get one of these. Now, obviously, these were signed before his passing back in July, likely stockpiled for future marketing just like this. Along with the signed cans, winners get entry into cash prize drawing worth up to $5,000. I mean, we can look at it more. See, we hid 50 golden tickets inside 12 packs across the country. These packs mark the final run of the original cans and the chapter that launched Real American Beer. What's in stores now is it. If you find the golden ticket, you'll receive a Real American Beer 12-pack signed by Hulk Hogan, plus a shot at a cash prize up to $50,000. How to enter, and then they talk about it. You can also purchase an entry, I guess, through Instagram. But anyway, so let's look at this trade. You remove the face from millions of cans produced going forward to allegedly dodge an IP lawsuit, but you give 50 people a price to keep the fans happy, will be the best way to say it, I guess. That feels like a little distraction, but what else can you do in this situation? Look over here at the shiny golden ticket, but don't look at the $10 million situation in my other hand. It feels like they are rationing out the founder's legacy to the highest bidder because they can't legally use it on the mass market anymore. It creates artificial scarcity. Suddenly, those old cans with the old Hulk Hogan design concept are collector's items. I haven't opened the one beer I got of his. It's now a collector's item. Should I even open it at this point? So where does this leave us? Real American Beer is trying to spin this as a growth movement. They want you to believe that removing the most recognizable face in America from their product is just what's next. But when you look at it, this $10 million situation filed by CARMA Hold Company and the sudden sale of the Hogan estate assets, this rebrand. Sorry. And this, where's the other image? Oh, I don't know what fell. This is also another thing I forgot to mention before I go back to what I was saying. This is them also thinking of, in the future, doing special edition cans of Real American Beer. So they'll have the new can and eventually they'll do a special edition can. So they may not be done for now, but maybe they'll come back once they figure out their situation. So the sudden sale, so going back to what I was saying, but when you look at the $10 million situation by CARMA Hold Company and the sudden sale of the Hogan estate assets, the picture seems pretty clear. This isn't a rebrand, this is them retreating due to the situation that they're in. Not by them, but like unfortunately by whoever were very involved. Personally, I think it's unreal. The wound is still fresh for a lot of fans because they lost one of their favorite wrestlers. But scrubbing the imagery on these cans while the estate is fighting for their life in court seems cold. But hey, maybe in 5 years, nobody will remember this, or maybe this is the beginning of the end of the brand. What do you think? Is the lawsuit the real reason of this erasure on the Real American Beer can, or is it just a coincidence? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next video.